Gary here with MACMOST. Let's look at creating QR codes on your Mac. Now, QR codes, of course, are those handy little square graphics with black dots. You'll see them in places like restaurants or on signs, things like that. Usually you point your phone at them, use the camera, and it will take you to a web page. But you could actually use QR codes for a variety of different things. The basic idea is that a QR code will represent a string of characters, but just in a way that's easy for a mobile phone's camera to be able to read and reproduce. So a simple QR code like this one may simply represent the characters in a URL, like going to MACMOST.com. But the great thing about QR codes is that your camera can read them no matter how long they are. So if it's a long URL, say going to a specific web page inside of a directory, inside of a website, you don't have to rely on somebody typing all of that. They can simply point their phone at it and their phone will figure out the URL and go to the web page in the browser. And most QR codes are just this. They go to web pages. Sometimes they can be complex web pages like ones that trigger going to the App Store to show a specific app, or even to some other app to go to a specific part of that app. But they're basically just URLs. The same thing as just typing in the web page address. It's just a lot easier to go from the physical world to the online world if you can point your camera at it instead of relying on the user to type each character. But how to create these codes? If you search online, you're going to come up with tons of websites that will allow you to create QR codes. The only problem is you've probably never heard of most of these websites. You don't know what they're doing when they encode the URL. Probably most of them aren't doing anything. They're just taking those characters and making a nice looking QR code. But it's possible that some of them could be redirecting through their own site, acting as kind of a URL shortener, and then they could use that to either track the visitors to your web page, or there may be a problem if that website or service disappears in the future. Your QR code doesn't work anymore. So it's always safest to just generate your own QR code. But how to do that, since it looks like all of the QR code generators are some site or service, even if it's from a company you've heard of like Google or Adobe, you might not want to have anybody between your QR code and your website. Well, fortunately, there's a way to generate QR codes directly on your Mac using a shortcut. And you don't even have to create the shortcut. The shortcut is already there. It's already built in. So in the Shortcuts app, go to Gallery. So these are some pre-made shortcuts that Apple provides. There are a lot of demos and things you can learn from. But if you search the gallery for QR code, you'll come up with this shortcut called Make QR Code. Click on the plus button here to add it. So now you've got a copy of the shortcut. Go into all shortcuts and you should see it there. And if you take a look at it, you can see exactly what it does. It's going to prompt for the type of QR code, because it turns out you can use QR codes for a lot more than just opening a website. But that is the first option here. And then there are a bunch of other options and you can see exactly how it works if you're interested. If not, you don't actually even need to look at the code. You can just click the little play button there and run this whenever you need to use it. And you can see here it prompts you for what type of QR code to make. So if it's just a simple open website, you choose that and then choose the site. So I'm going to choose MACMOST.com, but I could choose a really long URL that goes to a specific page. Click Done and it will generate this QR code like that. And now I could simply right click or two finger click on a trackpad and select Copy Image. And now that I've done that, say I'm working on a sign I'm making a page, I can just paste it in here and then resize it and work with it just like any other image. And now I've got that QR code there. If somebody points their iPhone at it and uses the camera app, they will go to MACMOST.com. So this is a quick and handy way to do it, and it's all done on your Mac. There's no third party involved. Code is actually just your URL there. There's no middleman. It will never stop working. As long as your website works, that QR code will go there as surely as somebody typing in that URL. By the way, if you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MACMOST at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. Read about it right here. But notice you can also do a lot of other things here. So when you run it, one of the things you can do is send a message or send an email. So for instance, for sending an email, use that, and then it's going to have you select a contact. And this is going to be where the email goes. So if it's going to be an email that you want coming to you, like you want a QR code that says email me for more information, then you would select your contact here. And you can see I could select the email address there. You could have the subject line filled in. So we'll do test subject. We can have the body of the email filled in. Of course, all this can be edited before the user sends. It doesn't send automatically. So you can have, whatever you want in here, and then hopefully somebody could add extra information to it if they want in the body. And then it generates this QR code. So if they take their phone and point it at, say, a sign that you've created, then you'll see the QR code information appear here at the bottom, and they click it, and you could see it comes up with an email like this. Everything's filled in. And it works the same for messages. You could also add a contact. So this is a great way to share, say, your business card with somebody. This is actually a way that not only could you have it on a sign, but maybe even have it shown on your screen if you want. Bring up this graphic. So you choose the contact there, and it creates this V card. And if somebody were to point their phone at this, you could see here, it comes up and it brings up all the contact information, and they can now choose to create a new contact, add to existing contact, and all of that. All the information's filled in, and it's easy for them to do. You could also add an event. So to do this, you would call the event something, and then you can add a specific date like that, add an ending date. Let's just leave it at the same. And then this will allow them to quickly add an event to their calendar. So here we go, and there's the name of the event there. Tap it, and it brings up the event details, and they could add to their calendar. You can also have it set up a wireless network. You would enter the name of your Wi-Fi network, and then enter in the password, and then done, and it creates this QR code. And when they point their phone at it, you could see it's got a little join and that network there. So this could even be a hidden network that they wouldn't normally see, and you're just providing them with the name of the network and the password to get on. You could put this up on a sign in your home for guests to use. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.